and welcome. I'm Tafara Gadamu. My guest today, Bethlehem Cronneberg, is a software engineer who thinks girls need to be fairly represented in the trade. And the organization she created, You Code Girl, is basically into that. But Bethlehem is also a writer. Her book, The Alphabet Takes a Journey, Destination Ethiopia, published last year, has gotten quite a reception from American school children. Betty, a very warm welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about You Code Girl, the non-profit organization that you founded. When was it?
This year.
You basically wanted to teach young girls computing skills?
Yes, absolutely. You Code Girl, with the letter U, Code Girl as one word, is founded by me, a software engineer myself. I wanted to see more of me in the tech industry.
Do you want to replicate yourself?
Yes, more of me, female, with diverse background. Because in all the 22 years I worked in software industry as professionals, way back from Ethiopia to here in United States, I didn't see a lot more women in the field, and I wanted more, and I studied why that is a problem, and I found out that.
What is the problem? Why don't we have women in this field?
Yeah.
Why is it a man's territory?
Why is it only a man's territory? Yeah.
Because that's what you're alluding to, right?
Absolutely. It's dominated by male professionals, and it's a complex problem. It's including a social norm that the girls think that it is a male-dominated field, that they wouldn't feel supported, so they tend to not choose it. But many research that has been done in this area has pinpointed 3 issues why girls are not participating as much into the tech industry. Is because, one, they don't think it's a rewarding career or fulfilling career, because we as a woman tend to be more nurturing and into professions where it helps a human being.
I can't say that, because why is it not? Why don't they think it's a rewarding training, if you will? Because that's the future.
Yes, because computer science suffers from image problem, if you will, because people still think, even in a developed world, that coding is something you do in a dark room by a male with big dark glasses. So, and it's only doing that 24 hours or however long, many hours. So that is not the case anymore because of the advance in technology, and computers and software is into everything that we do right now, into our economic, or our economy is digitally driven. And software, the definition of a computer science is solving a real world problem by breaking down a complex problem into smaller pieces. So it couldn't get any more human than that, solving real world problem. And so, like I said, that's the image problem it has, or the perception that it is that not accessible and solves problem for everyone. And the second thing is the girls don't think they are good at it, which is unfortunate because they go into fields of medicine, which is super complex, and other engineering fields. So it's just to help them way back into the middle school to see that computer science as a tool that solves problem into our everyday life, that they are capable, intelligent, and creative, and that not choosing that field would be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when more people go into that field, then more women will be there and more participation will grow. Because the country, the nation, globally, we need women to participate because we need diversity of ideas to make a product from the sales pitch into the development, into the boardroom decision-making of implementation.
You said it is also similar in the U.S. I mean,
Yes.
you know, women are told they can't make it. Girls think that this is a very complex field, so that they better not start it. And also there are the cultural things, right? So when you started this intervention that you called You Could Girl, what are the areas that you wanted to attack first, so that you can have those girls aboard, get interested in computer science and in programming ultimately?
Yeah, the first thing is creating the awareness, and that is going into where the students are, into the schools, and talking about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths, and how important it is in our fields. And I do talk into many different youth organizations as well. This past summer, I talked at a Microsoft event that was held for girls, and I told my story and how it's accessible. If a little girl from Ethiopia learned how to code and is where she's at, that this is a space for you too, and you can come and own it, and it's not as complex, and there's so much support for you. And by the end of my talk, there were a whole bunch of girls lined up, very interested. And one girl said to me, I want to increase the number of girls in computer science by 1, and how do I do that? And that's exactly where we want them to be. You Could Girl is an enrichment program. It's a non-profit for out-of-school and summer immersion programs where we message to the girls, we message to the parents the importance of the why we need girls in technology and how we can help hone their skills. And it's not necessarily that they go into computer science program, but in the next decade, 80% of the job would require some level of technical skills. So whether you choose architecture or zoology, so creating that awareness and attracting the girls, enlisting them and giving them the exposure, and we want to inspire and then innovate and lead. So inspire is what we do. Innovate and lead is the training that we give them so they can confidently pursue opportunities in the 21st century.
Well, they need the support of their parents too, right?
Absolutely. At that age, especially in middle school, the parent involvement is also crucial. But that's the time when the girls also develop independence. So you need to talk to both of them.
You were a student in statistics at the Addis Ababa University and then shifted to computer science, right? You probably were one of the very, very few, if not the only one, who'd been in that class, right? In that.
Yes. The year I graduated, I'm dating myself, in 1993 from Addis Ababa University Science Faculty. I was a second-year student in majoring in statistics when the university started to consider computer science as a degree program, and they said, oh, why don't we offer a minor as a computer science?
And you were in?
First ever, yeah. So they selected a few students from mathematics and statistics department, and there were only 2 female students, and myself and Salam were one of it. And we started coding in mainframe, DOS-based programs like BASIC, Pascal, COBOL, Fortran, and that has been my bug.
Were you intimidated? We're talking about something that happened 23 years ago.
Yes.
Were you intimidated because it was basically a boys' club?
It was very new, and I didn't know about this perception of things. I'm always adventurous. I want to take risks. I'm curious, and I go into the lab. I wanted to talk to the computer because you type something, because before we didn't have any exposure to computers, and typing a program and the computer responding back to you is very exciting. And we were the only 2. Yes, it's intimidating, but the university has been intimidating also because of the high number of boys admitted, because at that time it's because of your GPA you get admitted.
Computer aside and coding aside, you've had a very interesting, I wouldn't say it's a coffee table book, but it is a very interesting book called The Alphabet Takes a Journey, Destination Ethiopia, which is a 40 pages book that you had published last year, 2015. How does that
come about?
Yeah.
I love to write. I love to tell stories, and oftentimes I do that verbally or in writing, and I have a strong passion of my early years of growing up in Ethiopia. I'm
awash with stories. And
yes. I get my Ivy League education at Yeneta School, the priest school.
Yeah.
So, and all the love and kindness and faith I received from the people of Ethiopia, I want to share that, how I grew up, because Ethiopia normally is in the West perceived as a poor country. So the values that we have, I wanted to communicate. So I wrote a story called The Alphabet Takes a Journey, Destination Ethiopia. I took the English alphabet.
A to Z.
Yeah.
24 alphabets.
Yeah. And
it's very interesting the way you weave the stories.
Yeah. I took them on a journey, and they pondered about where should we go and explore unique and diverse places, and they decided on Ethiopia, and the Amharic letters, all 250 plus of them, welcomed them, and then they took them on a tour of the culture in the country. So it's a multi-layered book where it could be, like you said, a coffee table book for people to read, adults, and learn a lot, because I put a lot of my growing up in there. As
again, your focus is children, right?
Yes, as well as the children can early childhood education, they can say D's for drum, and drum is kabaro, and how to say kabaro is written there. And then like he is a friend of the da family, so da, do, di, da, di, do is written there in Amharic, and then how to say it. So they can just grasp that and see a picture of a little girl with a drum and move on. But then older children can read about the stories about how drum and singing is a very integral part of our life in Ethiopia.
Yeah, you went into culture, into history, into the present, into landscape, into wildlife, and so on. What was the reaction like when kids started picking a copy of your book, and then parents also started reading to them, right? That's
yes.
what exactly happened.
Yeah, it was absolutely beyond my expectation, because I wrote the book just to share with the children, but people were very, very fascinated with it. I've been invited to speak at elementary schools for children, and the children ask me curious questions about Ethiopia.
Like what? Because Ethiopia is far removed.
Yeah, like children in the Midwest, they're very curious. I tell them stories and about our food, our money, and how we interact, how we share common things, how we are diverse as well. You know, and growing up as a little girl playing jump rope, they do jump roping. So it was really fascinating. I've been invited to speak in many other conferences, so it has created a really good insight and fascination, and books, magazines and articles have covered it, and I really was happy with it, not because it sells books, but because the readers have found the essence of what I wanted to portray, which is what Ethiopia is about.
So did they get the gist of your story?
Yeah, and it's like we didn't know how beautiful pictures. It's just beyond the imagination. Even the picture by themselves tell the story, let alone the stories themselves. So everyone says, "Oh, I've never been outside of the U.S., for example, and it transformed me into a history rich with culture and things like that." For people to say that in that way, and not a different way about Ethiopia, is by itself rewarding and fulfilling. My book is sold out within a year, yeah. And the Ethiopians as well, from Minnesota, from east to west, they were really, when they heard about it, very, very happy because of how it portrayed, which is the actual truth, the essence. So they were saying, thank you for telling our stories.
That's what you wanted, and it hit the mark, right?
Yes.
It made sense that way.
Because that's what I say when I speak too, that I'm very proud of where I am. I'm really glad of being born in a country in the same parents that I was born in. I wasn't born rich, but I was richly blessed.
Any ideas for a book in the pipeline? Because if this is sold out and if people who bought it like it, then definitely that would be quite an impetus. It would be quite an encouragement for you to get another story out in print. Anything in the pipeline?
I don't know. I'm not sure. What I found out is writing for children is really, really hard than anyone can imagine because you have to use few words and so maybe not children book. I might help in translating books into Amharic words so that children can, there are really beautiful books that are written out there. Or also help people like Jane Kurtz.
Who was also on the show.
Yeah, I was also an amazing author of many, many Ethiopian children books based in Ethiopia. So we together can write books based on proverbs of Ethiopia, very light books like in Amharic, Derbia Beram Basayasur. So what does that mean? A little decoded for children and things like that. I would like to help, but for me, my goal is to inspire young children into the work of the technology field. So maybe in the future we'll do a memoir about myself.
So you are also a member of the non-profit organization called Ethiopia Reads. It's a very, very interesting organization because it's made much of a difference. And you're also a member of the American Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. You want to go beyond just writing a book? You want to be a member of some organizations and spread the word? What is it?
I see myself as a change maker, an advocate for literacy because I grew up with limited resources, educational resources, and there are many other boys and girls that love to read and learn, and we still have a shortage of educational resources or facilities. So I want to help provide that with organizations that are supporting that effort, and Ethiopia Reads is one of them.
Coming back to where it started, I mean, you're here in Ethiopia, obviously partnering with individuals, trying to encourage women, young girls, do what you basically have done all these years, right?
Yes, our vision of UCOD Girl is to increase the participation of girls in technology, and we do that through our mission of inspiring, training, and training and empowering them. So when I learned that there is an Africa Code Week starting October 15, this a month long, that anyone can put together and teach young ones to be exposed to it, to how that it is an opportunity that's very, very wide open to them with a number of possibilities and rewarding career. I wanted to do that. So I partnered with organizations like the International Leadership Academy, who provided us the space to train 30 high school young girls. So we give them leadership opportunities. We give them a session so they can speak publicly, be able to speak confidently and publicly. For example, if they are innovating ideas, so they can pitch. And we do that in collaboration with X-Hub, Addis organization, and digital literacy. And we give them training on entrepreneurship and innovation, which means for them to think and brainstorm of ideas. What are the problems in your community around you that you can solve using technology? Because that's what computer science is all about, software engineering is all about. So I want them to go through the exercise of design thinking before they can jump into coding, information architecting, and once they collaborate in groups and brainstorm and come up with ideas. It could be many different ideas. Ethiopia is ripe for that kind of ideas. Provide solution, and they can create website that solves that problem. They can create an app. They can use in the future robotics, many different tools they can use. But innovation is a way of the future in the next 10, 20 years.
Fantastic. Betty Cronneberg, thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you on my show. And good luck with what you're doing. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.